This is just a short video just to sort of check in. I have definitely been AFK on this channel for a lot longer than I had hoped. I've really sort of been struggling to make videos and content for a while now, and I started to get sort of back into that and get things rolling, and then COVID happened and put basically an end to that. But I have noticed that a lot of you have still been leaving comments on videos or reaching out to me on other platforms. For those of you who have sort of been steady watchers of this channel and who have talked with me on other places, just sort of to check in and ask if I'm okay, which I very much appreciate. That means a lot to me. And I thought that I've been trying to make a video for a while, and I figured instead of trying to do a proper video, I would just hop on my phone and just talk to you guys for a couple minutes, let you guys know in that way there's at least something up here. So the first sort of thing that is happening is that I'm okay. I do not have COVID or anything like that, and I am still in the van. However, I've changed up sort of the living situation a little bit. Right after sort of my last video went up, maybe a month after that, I decided that I was going to try and find a place to park the van, like I had done in Cranbrook, rent someone's driveway, something like that, and rent it and basically use it more as a tiny house than a van. And there's a number of reasons for that that maybe I'll go into in another video. One of the big ones, though, was that the area that I was parking in near my work got pretty heavily cracked down on by the police, who were coming through and basically giving tickets, that sort of thing, like every day, which was yeah not fun and just not something I could afford to do. And so that was one of the reasons. And so I have a friend who had a parking space that was just sort of opening up at this sort of perfect time, and it just sort of worked out that we could make a deal at that time where I was feeling frustrated with the parking situation in my area, and also having to drive this thing around, which isn't very fun. And then with her having a spot open up that was available. So I actually did film a video of that process of me moving in and doing that, but I talked to her, and she preferred that her property that I didn't show that process, simply because it's not something that you're really supposed to be doing. So I totally respect that. That's totally cool. So I never uploaded that video. And then like a couple weeks later, COVID really took effect. So I really lucked out, and I'm really glad that I've had this extra worry that I've taken off, basically, of not having to deal with van life and parking and all that stuff during COVID, when I can just go and park it in my own space. And then also, thankfully, this being sort of my own little bubble in here has been really useful, because I've continued to work throughout this. And really, that is one of the biggest reasons why I haven't been making videos, was because for the longest time I was working full-time nonstop. It was incredibly stressful in the beginning, and I just couldn't handle really doing much of anything at that point. So the videos were sort of a victim of that. And I'd hoped to do some changes to the van and to film that sort of stuff, but that kind of also got caught up in all of that, where I just didn't have the time really to do anything like that. So unfortunately, those videos haven't come into effect. I had really hoped to do kind of a tour of the final van, which I realized I never did. I did one when I first moved into the van, and I never did one even with the white walls or anything like that, with all the changes. So maybe that will be something that I can work on a little bit later. But I'm not sure if or what content will be coming out on the channel going forward. I don't want to make any promises about stuff that I can't keep. But I did just sort of want to check in and say, like, what's going on, and that I'm all right, and that sort of this is the situation. And I have been doing a lot of motorcycle riding, and so I might do some stuff with that. That's one thing with having a parking spot means that I can actually use my motorcycle, which I was really after I moved from Cranbrook to Vancouver, I was really feeling the bike was just sort of sitting in my sister's garage, and I never got to ride it because I had to go all the way over there and pick it up and that kind of stuff. And now I get to commute on a motorcycle every day, which I freaking love. So yeah, that to me, that it's definitely worth it. Seeing as though I am sort of very sedentary kind of a person, really. I have a full-time, not full-time, but a part-time job that I work at, and that's one of the big reasons why when that sort of crackdown happened in that area, that it was pretty big effect, because that would mean that I'd need to commute in from even further in the city, and it didn't really make driving the van to work every day feasible, and trying to find parking further away and that kind of stuff. Where I know a lot of people have mobile jobs or stuff online, especially these days, but I have a brick and mortar job, which sort of does entail some aspects of brick and mortar life. So I'm actually really, really happy with this parking situation. It's worked out really well so far, and I don't really have any plans on changing that anytime soon. It's been really nice to just sort of have space and a garden and that sort of stuff as well. And Luna, who for some reason is not trying to interfere with this video, has been really well too, and she's really enjoying being parked as well, and being able to kind of have a familiar space to go out on her leash. She goes out into the garden and that kind of stuff on her leash. You speak of the devil, and she will come. Won't you, Luna? Luna, do you want to say bye? No? Oh well, maybe she doesn't. But yeah, that's really all that I wanted to say. Just check in and let you guys know how I'm doing, and yeah, just while I sort of figure out what's going to happen with the channel, what I'm going to do, that kind of stuff. Because there's more stuff than just van stuff that I want to be doing on here. But that sort of kind of all consumed the channel for a long time, because that kind of all consumed my life. So I'm sure there'll be stuff coming up down. I've got definitely some things I want to change and do, and I don't know if I'll have time before it starts getting rainy to do some of them. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and for sticking around through all this. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll see you when I do. Cheers, folks.